If you don't, you're going to live in lack. And if you live in lack, you're going to run after things. You're going to try. It says, oh, I want to make more money. So then you're running after something. Have you ever realized that when you run after something, it runs away from you? I see money as a bird, a little bird. And if you chase it, it's gone. But if you have some nice seeds and you don't move much, it's coming.
Hello, I'm your host, Aveline Clark, and this is the 6-Star Business Podcast, where we have conversations with amazing, incredible people all about what it takes to be 6-star, going beyond the status quo, doing things differently, and how they bring purpose, love, and impact into their businesses every day. And in today's episode, I met with the exuberantly positive and upbeat Francois Lupien from Canada. Along with my co-host, Corey Sebest, we were delighted with everything he had to say and his focus on mindset, positivity, and how the very simple things, yet the consistent things, are what give us the greatest results. It really is a masterclass in owning your own results and outcomes and happiness in life. And it's a must-have for anybody who wants to build a 6-star business. I invite you to sit back and enjoy this one with Francois Lupien. Well, here we are, and welcome. I'm so excited. We've got Francois Lupien as our guest on the podcast today, and I've got my co-host, Corey Sebest. Francois, welcome. It's so lovely to have you here and see you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Evelyn.
Always happy to be back as well. Bonjour.
Wonderful. Well, let's get this started. I'm really keen to dig in and get to know you more, Francois. And I always ask our guests some very simple questions up front, and then we go further into the journey and who you are after that. So, could you let us know, where are you in the world? Who do you serve? How do you serve them?
Where I'm in the world, I'm in Ontario, Canada. That's where I'm at, and been here all my life in this area, this province, and the one right beside it. And who I serve commission-based professionals, or people that are responsible to generate the income for their business. And the way that I serve them is I help them create the proper mindset so they get out of their way, so that the flow of abundance can come through them by teaching them skill set in order to do so. And the best skill set that I teach is sales, not in a salesy way, but in a way to fulfill needs. So 95% mindset and 5% skill set is what I do. And the end results is more impact and more income in less time for everybody I come in contact with.
I love that. And we're going to dive further into that, no doubt, in this conversation. What's something you like to do when you're not busy serving those people, Francois?
Things I like to do? I'm 61 and I still race motocross. And so,
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm a maniac guy. I love high adrenaline things. I was a Canadian gold medal champion in Taekwondo martial arts. I still train. I love it. I have 6 children, and we now have 5 grandchildren. And I'm married over 31 years to the love of my life. And so I like to conquer the world and put it at her feet is what I love to do.
Oh, wow. I'm sure I don't know about you, Corey, but I just listen to that and I just go, wow, like that's cool, exciting.
Honestly, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
61, full of vitality, still working, cheerful, happy. I mean, wow. Congrats.
And it's not to impress you, but rather to impress upon you that when we use our mind in the right way, life is eternal. And you said working. I don't feel I'm working. I'm making a contribution and helping my fellow man. So I'm not working at all. I'm just enjoying life through performance enhancer. That's what I like to say. I like to enhance people's performance so that they can enjoy life themselves, and nothing more than being an example, leading by example. And so, doing all sorts of crazy things. I love, are you familiar with Wim Hof? Wim Hof
yes.
breathing?
Yes.
Okay, so I do Wim Hof breathing. I'm at 3 minutes for cold showers, and I like to hold my breath. Interesting fact: when before COVID, I used to hold my breath with the Wim Hof method. You breathe it, and the last one totally out. And my record was 4 minutes. Hold it 4 minutes 7 seconds, holding my breath after no air. And then but mostly 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Then COVID, I got COVID in March this year. I went down to 30 seconds. And this guy is not going to slow down. So I started working, and I'm doing it every day. And I'm up to 2 minutes and a half, 2 minutes 45 now. But it's interesting how we can let the outside circumstances control us. And this is physiology, that the lungs, I don't know what happened, and I don't want to delve into that, but I decided I want more and more. And the reason why more, because my goal was to do 5 minutes because I enjoy snorkeling. And one of the things I enjoy most is when there's scuba divers and I'm snorkeling, I go beside them, I'm experiencing with them, and all of a sudden they go, and they realize I have no tank. I love that. But again, it's practice. Nothing comes. Success does not attack anybody. There's no elevator for anything to get to the top of success. We all need to take the stairs. But the nice part about taking the stairs is that we develop the muscles in the legs, the lung capacity, and then we're growing so that when we get to be to the top, we can actually enjoy the view because we can handle it. So maybe we'll dive into this a little more, but that's a little bit of the philosophy of the things I love.
I love all of that. How you made me laugh, and I saw Corey laughing when you talked about being the snorkeler that sort of goes down next to the scuba divers, and they go, "What? How are you here?" I absolutely love it. Because I always, when the times that I've scuba dived, I wondered if the snorkeler could come down and how far they could go. And I was thinking about this myself, and I've never been in a situation to try it. And here you are talking about this exact thing. So that is really fun and very, very interesting. Love it. All right. I would love to know about your journey, Francois. So could you tell us about the journey that you've been on that's brought you to where you are today?
That's a loaded question. It could be a long answer, but one that I like to start with is with my mom. You're going to say, what? Your mother? When I was 4 years old, they had bought me, and I'm 61, so 4 years old was a long time ago. Now you have roller skates that are like the roller blades are in line. In my days, there was 4 wheels. And then you needed to strap it to your boots. And so I had little cowboy boots and would strap them on it. So it was easy to slip on and slip off. But the first time I did it, I fell on the sidewalk and on the street, and it was not pleasant. I did not like it. So I come home crying. And then my mom says, what's going on? And so I explained to her, come with me. And I remember, as if it was yesterday, my mom readjusting the roller skates, putting them on, and going and skate in the street herself. She was maybe 30-some years old, 35 years old at that time. And then she sits right by me and she looks at me and she told me, and I still remember as it was yesterday, you can do anything you want in life. Just go for it. And she undid and put them back on. And as I fell, she says, you can get back up. And so this small experience enabled me to want to tackle many, many things in life. So that's one of the things. Then at 7 years old, she puts me into a diction class, which was we needed to learn a text or a poem every week and recite it in front of our peers by heart. And there was 25 people in the class. I was 7 years old. By the end of the year, there's only 8 of us left. But my mom used to help me all the time. She was involved into helping me learn it, practice it, and making sure that I was doing it right and correcting me from it. And so I just love public speaking because of my mom. And so when I went to school and we had to do presentations, show and tell, and people didn't want to do it, says, let me do it for you. And then people say, how come you like to speak so much? Like I said, everybody needs to take the stairs. But my mom instilled those things a lot into me. Then let's move fast forward, 18 years old. Are you familiar with Amway? Does that ring a bell? Amway? You can nod your head. Yeah, Amway. That's a long time ago. So someone invites me, in the way they used to. Hey, come and see. I don't know. I'm 18 years old. And this man on stage was a little chubby guy, and he was making $60 million a year. I am 18 years old. I am freaking out. $60 million? He must know something that many people does not know. And then he said, have you in your family or people that you know around you noticed that some people, whenever good things happen to them, they say the following: oh, this won't last. It'll disappear. It can't last that long. And I knew someone like that a lot. My dad was a doctor making some good money. And I remember one day he came home and he says, oh, I just had a $10,000 bonus, but I know something's going to happen. I'm going to lose it. And I'm having supper. I'm not paying too much attention to this. 2 days later, my sister scrapped the car, $10,000. And he said, I knew it. And I go, wow. And then now let's go back on stage with this $60 million man. And he says, do you know that you can do the opposite? You can start speaking into existence what you want rather than what you don't want. And will it happen 100% of the time? No. But the more you do it, the more traction it gets, the more momentum you gain, and the better it goes. And this transformed my life. He said, I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper. I don't listen to the radio. I only have good books that I read every day. Tapes, like audio tapes that you put in the car, the CDs. And so, long story short, this guy doesn't watch the news, don't listen to the news, don't read the newspaper for the past 43 years. And my life is absolutely fantastic. Great stuff comes in, fantastic stuff comes out. I keep feeding myself, because the day you think you know it all is the day you start to fall. So constant, like I'm also a national trainer for Tony Robbins. So CANI, constant and never ending improvement is one of the things that is so powerful to continue to learn and continue to grow, so you can show up and add value to other people's around you. So these three events in my life forged it that who I am today. And that's why I'm Canadian champion, gold medalist in Taekwondo martial arts. I still do motocross at my age, and when I'm on the bike, I still feel like I'm 20 years old. It's great. Our mind is fantastic. And the more we explore it, the more we know, or we realize how little we know about it. We have such amazing potential inside of us. And it's wonderful not only to unearth it for, let's say, myself, but to have people come into my life and help unearth it for them. Get the people to, I call it, let's dust those goals, those big goals that you have that you always bury down. They're in there for you. I think that all the possibilities are here, and they want to manifest, and they're looking for someone through which they can manifest. So whenever you get an idea that comes to you, that means that you have the possibility of doing it. The only question is, will you? And when we're alone, sometimes we slam the brakes. We don't want to do it. And that internal chatter either destroys us or empowers us. So if we have someone to help us, a coach or a friend that can says, yes, you can, and then we make plans to make it happen, now the possibilities of it happening have just gone up exponentially. I can go on for hours on this, but I'll ask for the next question.
So what took you from looking at the $60 million man on stage to where you are today? Like, did you always know you were going to be a coach or a facilitator of greatness? Tell me about that transition or that journey. I'm fascinated.
That's interesting. Well, I always learn from the experience that he says to learn on personal and professional development. I spent over $250,000 on myself throughout my life so far, and I'm not done yet. And so and I'm not saying this to impress you, but to impress upon you that we can always learn more and learn more and learn more. And the 60 million, I'm not, the most I did is 100,000 in a month, but still, it's not too bad. But it's just the fact that If you shoot for higher, well, there's going to be ways that you can get it. But if you shoot low, then you're not going to get anything. And one of the things I wanted to touch base on, people need to stop tiptoeing through life. Stop tiptoeing through life all the way to your death. Make some noise. You have something inside of you, something that wants to come out. Well, find someone that can help you bring it out. Because that thing that you have inside of you is going to make you more alive and create a better impact with all those around you. I believe that wholeheartedly.
I'm getting electrified with all the speech. I mean, you are really a very exceptional candidate to this podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
So, Francois, was there someone that brought that out in you on your journey?
Who's the someone that brought it out of me? That's
you got maybe it's a role model, or was there someone that lit that fire in you?
Interesting. Whenever someone says role model, I say someone that's controversial sometimes, and he's in the corner right there. I have a picture of Jesus Christ. To me, he lived a perfect life, and it was amazing. Actually, they killed him. No, he gave his life. He didn't kill him. But Jesus Christ makes it possible for each and every one of us to overcome all the challenges that we ever face. And so there's ways to stay calm in all situations. And by all means, with someone that has hot-blooded as me, I got Latin blood inside of me and I'm boiling with energy. I've channeled that not to anger, but to enthusiasm. And that is very, contagious with people around me. So I like that part of it. So he's one big role model. I would say that my mother was one of them as well. Definitely. She was one. And my wife, who is by my side, and she's always cheering up for me. Surrounding yourself with an environment that is supportive of what you want to achieve is paramount in making it happen. I think that your environment is very, very paramount, because if you're inside, and because I teach, you have to live life inside out, meaning it needs to come from you going out. Because if it's outside in, then you're just a victim of circumstances. Circumstances change, then you change. So now you're tossed to and fro according to the changes. Like people say, hey, do you know there's a recession coming? What are you going to do? And I say, I decided not to participate. And so that's it. And the reality, life's got no meaning but the meaning you give unto it. And so make sure that the meaning you give to things are ones that are going to empower you. Now, you ask me if people empower you, it's good that others help you, but it needs to come from inside. Because in life, there's the sun and there's the moon. The sun radiates and gives light. The moon only reflects the light. If the light is gone, the moon does not reflect. Whenever something comes your way that seems to be exciting, I believe at first that we are all a moon. So therefore, the exciting thing comes, and now we're reflecting the light from that exciting things. But unless you become a sun yourself from that, meaning coming from the inside, if that sun sets, you're done, baby. You're gone. So we need others to ignite the flame, but then we need to flame it and nurture it for it to continue. I think and sometimes people, that's why a lot of people say, oh, this thing, it's amazing. And then they start doing it in 6 months. So what's happening? It didn't work. They were a moon in that situation. They never became the sun. So I like to say, and I'm very visual, I like to integrate right brain, left brain. I say that we all have a crank in our back. And yet at first you have to ask people, hey, Corey, can you crank me, please? And then you crank me, I go. But the optimal thing is to get that crank to come in the front so you can crank yourself. And at first it's always in the back. But we like to have it to come in the front. So we become self-reliant into the things that we want. So to answer your question, yes, we need to have inspiring people, but then after a while, we need to start taking keyword responsibility. When you take responsibility on things, what happens is that you are now no longer a victim of what's going on. And if things shift, that's okay, because you are standing on a solid foundation. I hope that helps.
So yes, it does. And I'm listening to all this amazing wisdom and going, where did you learn this? Was it from your own journey? No.
43 years of listening, and see, I have a couple. My daughters came, and I had like 600 books here. Says, "Oh, get those out." And so now I only have a few in there. So I read every day. I study every day. I'm very serious about becoming better all the time. And unless you're serious about this, you're not going to last long. And also, when you're doing it that much, it becomes second nature. I just love this. I have 2 speeds in life, park and drive. And the only time that I'm in park is when I'm in bed. When I get up in the morning, man, I'm up. And there's no such thing as snooze buttons, and holy moly. My alarm clock goes, that's all it does. And actually, I wake up before it. Another thing is we can see the mind's amazing. I have set my internal clock that I get up at 5:30 every morning. So at 5:26, 5:27, I'm awake. And so I don't need the alarm clock, and I'm on. This is something that, again, the human mind is so wonderful. You can train it to do so many things. That's the challenge. A lot of people don't train it. I see it as a garden. And what is the thing that grows the most in a garden and the fastest and the easiest? Weed, bad weed. And so if you want to have flowers, trees, and fruit trees that are there, you're going to need to do some pruning. You're going to need to take some things out. Those weeds, you need to weed them out daily. But when you do that, the order that you get from it is wonderful. And to this extent, there was this, it's a story about a preacher who's going to preach on Sunday, and he wants to rally some people. So he's going around a new town, and he sees this farmer, and the farmer's got this land. It's beautiful. So the preacher stops, and he goes on the railing, and he's waiting. So the farmer sees that he's waiting. So the farmer stops the tractor and grabs a piece of hay and comes to him and says, "Hey, what's happening?" So he says, "Man, you've been blessed by the Lord for this field that you have here." He goes, "You think so?" He goes, "Yeah, it's all orderly." He says, "You should have seen it when the Lord was taking care of it by himself." So in French, it says, "Aide-toi et le ciel t'aidera." So help yourself, and the Lord will help you. So you need to do some things. You need to nurture. You need to be orderly. You need to have some structure in what it is that you do, but you also need to have a goal. And how interesting that, talking about a farmer, the furrows that is in the field, the only way to get them straight is if they look forward. If they look back when they're doing it, the furrows are going to be all crooked. You can't look back. You got to look forward. It tells us the same thing with our lives. We need to look forward in the direction that we want to go. So as we focus on this, we're not swerving, but we're going in the direction that we want to go. That's from the farmer is a pretty cool example. But yes, we need to nurture this thing. Let's face it, we're with it until we die. And then that person that's inside of you, I like to do this. If you close your eyes, I had a grandfather that we adopted. And he used to say when he was 7 years old, says, "Oh, it's amazing. When I close my eyes, I'm 25 years old." He says, "When I open my eyes, my hands are old." And so inside of us, we're sort of eternal type thing. It doesn't change. So that thing wants to live. So let's live it to the best ability that we can, making the best out of this world and helping others do the same.
It's simply amazing. How important for the way how you live your life is natural curiosity for life, for things, for people.
Say that again. Curiosity?
No, curiosity, to be curious about things. How important is that? Because you have, obviously, natural curiosity for exploring everything. Yeah. And as you said, most people are tiptoeing towards their death, literally. Yeah. They are living an average life full of fears, and you are a role model for everything which is positive, engaging, electrifying. So is it also coming from your natural state of curiosity, curious for nature, for life, for the unknown, whatever that is?
That's an interesting question. Curiosity. my dad was a doctor, anesthesiologist, and he used to say, in life, you can make it hard at the beginning and it's going to be easy for a long time. Or you make it easy at the beginning and it's going to be hard for a long time. And so from there, he always said, give your best. Find out how it works. Turn it around. Look at different. My dad took 5 years of Latin and 5 years of Greek in school. And so whenever we played the dictionary game, I don't know if you ever did it, but any word would come out of the dictionary, he would know the translate or the definition of it because of the root of Anglo-Saxon and Latin languages that he had. That was absolutely amazing. And so that curiosity that he instilled in me comes from, hey, there's a reason. If you don't understand something, just ask questions. And that's why I like one of this book right here. You say curiosity. Questions are the answer. So if you're not sure about something, ask someone that knows. And beware who you ask, please. If you're at Google is fantastic. But ask Google, what's the population of Germany? That's fine. But don't ask Google what you should do with your life. That's a mistake. For important things, ask people that really will make a difference and most probably have walked the talk also. As I said, Google is great, but beware of what it is that you do. And also, Google is great according to the quality of the questions that you ask it. If it's very general what you're asking, that means it's going to give you a very general answer. But if you're specific in the question that you're asking, it will give you a more specific answer that's going to help you even more. So that curiosity comes from asking questions. I was just in a presentation before, and the guy was saying, I deserve to be heard. And people need to hear what I say. And I cringed when I heard that. I go, what is he for? You don't deserve nothing, and no one needs nothing from you. What you need to do is you have one mouth and 2 ears. You need to ask questions and listen and find out the needs, the challenges, the problems, or the successes that people have and interact with that. Then you get a chance to speak because you're addressing something that is real. Not just you talking. Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want, you'll get whatever you want. It's not about me. It's about how can I help Evelyn? How can I help, how can I help Corey? How can I help the others around me? And once you start with those questions, it's interesting. I said before, you have to live your life from the inside out. Well, the out is taking care of the others. That's what my out is, from the inside out. And then you get the feedback from the outside in. How are they reacting or acting according to what you say? How can you tweak it better so they can respond better to their needs? And then it's a flow. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning. A lot of people want abundance, but they put their foot on the hose of abundance. And what I do is I push them off the hose so that the hose can come in. And what that implies is that you need to circulate. You need to circulate things. If you want more in your life, you have to give more. And until you give, which starts the receiving process, you won't get nothing. And my example on this is a wood stove. You can have a wood stove in front of you in the middle of the winter, and you tell the wood stove, give me some heat, I'll give you some wood. The wood stove looks at you and says, no. You give me wood, I'll give you as much heat as you want. And that's the concept to go about anything. First, respond to the need of the others, and then it'll start to flow. And then when it starts to come, keep it going. Do not hoard it. Meaning, how can I say? Let's say I start to receive things, and I got this and I got that. Now I'm holding on to it. I says, no, this is what I got. And now Evelyn wants to give me something else, or Corey wants to give me something else. And as you're trying to give it to me, I'm like this. I cannot get anything. What I need to do is let go of this now and let go of now I can get some more. One of the things, introspection, that I thought throughout life is that when you let go, mismatch yourself with that sentence. Instead of letting go, how about you deposit on the ground as another foundation of your experiences, and then you step on it. And so now you're a little taller now because you've let go of the experiences that you have, but you didn't let go away. You've structured them in a way that now you are a better and bigger person to have more things coming. And then as you grow, then your vision changes. It changes. When we're at the bottom of a mountain, people says, oh, I love the lake. He says, what lake? There's trees around here. And then as you go up the mountain, all the way up, oh, there's a lake there. It was always there. It's just that your perception was not there yet. Be patient with yourself. Don't take your time, but take the time. Anything that's worthwhile is something that has been built through time. An oak tree or a weed. The weed grows fast, but the sun comes and it's scorched. The oak tree or the olive tree, even better, since in Europe, olive trees, some of them are 1,000 years old. Like, what? 1,000 years old? That's crazy. But it's so solid and very resilient. So with time, as I get older, I think Mother Nature is a fantastic teacher. And whenever I try to mold my life according to what's happening in nature, what's been happening for millions of years, it's much better than the new trend on the internet or that new Google thing that says, do this, do that. How long is that going to last? But rather something that is more solid grounds, a proven thing that does not change regardless of economy, for example.
Wow, there's a lot there, Francois. I'm a lot. And I'm loving and everything that you're saying. So good. And I love the analogy of putting the things and standing on top of them, because you do, that's the visual of what we're actually doing when we embody these new gifts, these things that we're learning and taking on, right? I've got a question. You mentioned before that you help people get off the hose of abundance. What's the most common reason that they're blocking the whole of their hose of abundance and stopping it from coming in?
Corey, you're going to love this answer. 43 years of studying, and just recently through Neville Goddard, I came with the mental diets. And he spoke of something that just is shifting things on all my clients, is the internal dialogue that we have. I don't care about your beliefs. I don't care what you're saying, although the internal dialogue that you have is triggered by the beliefs, but you can change that internal dialogue. Think about it. If you are hungry and you're working right now and you says, I'm hungry, what happens? You say to yourself, oh, I'm hungry now. You're not speaking it, but your voice is saying, I'm hungry now. So now you stand up, you go to the kitchen and you prepare food and you eat. So if you say, oh, I need to go to the washroom now. So you stand up and you go. So what's happening is everything. Think about this. This is the homework for the day or for the rest of the week. Figure out now everything that you're going to be doing that it's going to be triggered by your internal dialogue. Put it to the test. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and it works 100% of the time. It's amazing. And so therefore, the pivotal thing that I'm getting to now, you're saying curiosity, Corey. Yes. How can I make it better? How can I make it to the next level? And that thing of internal dialogue is absolutely mind-boggling. And actually, I've written this thing down. This is pretty cool. Our behavior only echoes that which we whispers to ourselves in secret, our inner conversations. So therefore, always leave yourself with the impression of increase. Be good to yourself. Don't put yourself down. We do that so often. So now let's flip this, because I love to flip in things. The behavior of others only echoes that which you whisper to them in secret. I've just given you the keys to the kingdom of people's behaviors with you. If you have challenges with a child, I have 6 kids, so it's not always been rosy. Some of them go, woo! And so what do? And it says, am I going into a internal dialogue, say, hey, that can't be this and that, why is this? And then next thing you know, when we meet again, is more conflicting. Or if I change my inner dialogue, that's going to echo their behavior, all of a sudden they start to change. Did they change? Let's go deep into this. As I'm doing my internal dialogue, it is changing my reticular activators. Reticular activators, are you familiar with this? Reticular activators, everybody? Yes? Perfect. So only 2,000 bits of information through the reticular activators out of 2 billion bits of information available. So what determines what I'm actually focusing or noticing, because everything's happening, but we're just noticing a part of it, is that my internal dialogue is fine-tuning it to what I want to see. Therefore, I see it. Therefore, I feel it. And as I feel it, I reflect it. They feel it. And now we're just all moving up, 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 up. And so we're literally getting our foot off the hose of the limitations that we have. Now, put it this way. The internal dialogues that you have with other people are also stopping them from being their best selves in front of you because of that dialogue that you have, which sometimes is limiting according to them. So start to have empowering conversations silently on everybody around you, and I can guarantee you're going to turn your life around on a dime so fast your head is going to spin. So that curiosity that you're talking about, Corey, oh man, I got it. And I'm on this thing now. I'm studying it right, left, and center and seeing it and applying it to all my clients. I said, let's do this. And to my wife and my kids. And they're all saying, wow, this is amazing. And as we're switching our thinking, things start to happen with ease and flow rather than with force and trying to change things. And hey, it's so hard to change ourselves. Let's stop trying to change others. So if we change ourselves, others will change because we have changed. And so that's the simplest, least effort solution of possible. And to fast track this is with the internal dialogue. So that's my latest thing.
It's lovely. How would you see society's role in supporting from being a self-centric person, driven by ego, very unconscious about the own behaviors and patterns, which you have been conditioned on through school system, whatever, where competition has been raised among each other rather than figuring out their own genius, and not comparing to others. So how does society, and if you look to society, economy, the whole system we have nowadays is built on consumption. So we are consumers. Coming back to what you said, it's holier to give than receive. But what we do is we just want. We are receiving. We are very materialistic. And is that not a showstopper to support actually to become a better version of yourself in a society which is more into splitting people and minimizing communities or disabling communities rather than enabling communities where you can start to collaborate and trust each other and help each other, as you just said?
Yeah, I love this. It's interesting. I see you went through the big picture and says, how can we do the big picture? I go from the other way. I go from changing the individual, which in turn is going to change the community, and one by one. Like, this is the way that I see it more, because going in and going against a big machine, you're going to get hurt. It's a big one, and it's powerful. That's why it's big. And so as I was studying this, I'm saying, how can I impact it more? Well, if I become part of the cogs inside that system and not be squeaky, but oiled, so to speak, then others around says, hey, he's not squeaking, he's oiled. What is he doing? And so by influencing slowly the people around is a faster way. Then now I'll explain also in another way. The Titanic sinks. Thousands of people in the water. You're lucky enough to be in the boat. Who do you save? Who do you save first? And I'm a lifeguard also. So this is something that if it ruffles your feathers from what I'm going to say, well, so be it. But wait, hear me out before you judge. So that internal chatter, hold it for a while. And it's as follows. The best way to save most people is to save the people that are swimming towards the boat. The people that are swimming towards the boat, they have energy, they have power. You take them. Now you're 2, now you're 3, now you're 5, now you're 10, now you're 15 to actually go out and rescue the weaker people that are there. The equation in that way, of course, there's going to be casualty, and that's very sad. Nevertheless, we're going to be able to save more people than if it's just this person that's just about to drown you, and then they grab you and they try to drown you as well. And so we're exerting way too much energy. So that's why I'm saying, as far as the community, let's build something one by one within the community so that from the inside, the nucleus can get stronger and have people come towards it, because they want to, and we're making a difference because we're solid in what we're doing, and they're seeing, hey, this thing is not working. I'd rather what they're doing. So we need to be enough people to start being disruptive, but in a good way, if that makes sense.
I love that analogy, that description, that image, the metaphor. And yeah, it could be controversial to some people, and yet the way you describe it, it makes perfect sense.
And also, if I may, as you're saying this, Adeline, is do the same thing for your business. You want to grow your business? Have how do you say, billboards that are advertising what you do, and then talk to the people that are swimming towards you. Don't try and convince someone that's running away from you. Hey, no. Hey, Corey, you need this. Come here. You didn't understand me, Corey. You need me, Corey. Whoa, Corey's going, hey, go away. When is he going to leave me? Like all of a sudden he's not answering his phone. And to me, and this is one thing that you talked about before, passion. When you're passionate about something, yes, but the way the right to speak to others is only given to you by the contribution that you want to make and what they feel you want to make to them. It's not about you wanting to hammer them. It's you finding out, hey, what's going on right now? How can I help you? What I like to do? Man, I can't believe you guys are getting the boatload on this. When I talk to people, I like to say, what's going good? What's going good right now? And they tell me this. So then I praise them. Congratulations. This is awesome. They feel good now. Then I says, okay, if there would be one or two things that you can improve, what would it be? And now they're comfortable speaking to me. They're going to say this and that. Oh, how long has that been going on? Oh, what have you done to solve it? How did that work? How much money are you losing because you're not solving these things? And so all of a sudden they're becoming aware of it. I'm not selling anything. They're just becoming aware. Now when they become aware, then what I like to do best is this. This is worth millions of dollars. Here it is. When someone answers that question, he says, wonderful. I can help you with that. It's very common. If I can show you how to overcome this, would you work with me? I'm telling you, man, everybody says yes. And the reason I'm laughing, but the reason is because I was genuine. I first seek to understand what was going on. And if I can help, and actually I can help you with that, it could be that, you know what? I'm not the one, but Corey can help you with this. I'm going to put the two of you together. And so obviously, well, you're not making money doing this. It's not about money like this all the time. I like psychic money as well. The feeling that I have from serving people. Not everybody gets sold, but everybody gets served. Very powerful. People come in your life. You can't help them. Point them in other directions. You know, Adeline is good with this. You should communicate with her. And there you go. And so I've served that person. That's great. So now the flow keeps coming. It's not hoarding. People come and you say, you're going to be my client and only mine. Well, then you just put your foot on the hose of abundance. Stop it and let it flow. And do you really believe there's abundance and infinite abundance? If you do, let go. If you don't, you're going to live in lack. And if you live in lack, you're going to run after things. You're going to try. It says, oh, I want to make more money. So then you're running after something. Have you ever realized that when you run after something, it runs away from you? I see money as a bird, a little bird. And if you chase it, it's gone. But if you have some nice seeds and you don't move much, it's coming. Stop moving and create a bait that will want it to come, and then it'll come more and more. Take your time. It's not a race, it's a marathon. But it's a marathon of relationships, of building things where you feel good with people. In life, it's not where you live, how many cars you have, all these things that people will remember. They'll remember how they felt when they were around you. I'll say that again. It's not what you have, what you accumulated, the cars, the this, the that, it doesn't matter. It's how people felt when they were around you. That's important. Once you realize this, create all your material for your business around that. Customers will line up to come to you. They will. Absolutely. Because you're doing it right. You're serving first. Genuinely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the way you described that, it made me think about nature. You know, it's reflective of nature because we're always in this constant flow, this evolution, and you can't block flow. You can't block the energy, or else it won't come. You know, then you end up getting hurt in some way, right?
Thank you. You can block flow, but you get hurt doing so. Absolutely. You can block flow, but you're going to get hurt. So let's not get hurt. So let's get into
That's
flow.
right.
Flow and ease.
Flow and ease. I love flow and ease. That's one of my mantras, I guess, or my daily goals, to have flow and ease. I have another question for you. And as you're speaking, you're talking our language, of course, but the things that you're describing genuinely reflect, I guess, what we talk about in Six Star about being different. And then I started to think about this concept of being unique. How important is it for somebody to be unique and as actually be themselves rather than taking on words or personas of someone else or what society thinks in order to allow this flow? So in other words, how important is it for you to be authentic to allow that flow and the energy to come and to continually evolve and move around and flow in, out, bigger, beyond?
Cool. I love the question. And the way I like to answer that question is, in order to be a good leader, you need to learn to be a good follower. I'll go with martial arts, Taekwondo. My master was ninth Dan. So I used to go and see him and ask him, sir, can I do it this? And it's interesting. If you're looking for positive reinforcement with them, forget it. They just grunt. Anyways, so I tell him, he says, do it this way. So I would go and practice 100 times. Then I'd come back. He says, like this? And he says, it's getting better. So another 100 times. And so by that, I mean is that we need to pay the price in order to become good at the foundation. For martial arts, there's different colors of belts. You start with yellow, and then you orange, green, and then everybody knows about brown belt. But in essence, it's red belt. And the reason why it's red belt and people says it's brown is because when you get red, they used to take their belts and dye them in dye, to change the color. So when you have blue and you dye it with red, it becomes brown. That's where brown belt comes from. But the reason for red is just before black. And red means danger, beware. He knows enough to hurt people, but he's foolish enough not to use it properly. Then when you get black belt, you get first Dan. It's a white stripe. And the master says, now you can start learning. So to come back circle to what you're saying is, how do you have your own creativity and your own self in there? I would say at first, follow someone that has a proven track record. Learn from them. Be quiet. Get out of the way. Learn. When you get good, then start to infuse yourself into it. Because if you do it at the beginning, you're going to dilute so much the success that the other person had that it's not going to stand. And now, are you familiar with Sam Ovens? Sam Ovens from consulting. Okay, so Sam Ovens, I think he makes $25 million a year now at 27 years old, something like that. And he started 4 or 5 years ago. He was making nothing. And he said something very powerful. I love it. He said, I have a great course, and I know I have a great course. It's fantastic. And if you follow my course, you will be fantastic. But if you only follow my course, you will only live in my shadow, and you will never outperform me. What needs to happen is you need to learn my course, find out, and then start to add yourself to it. And then you will become a new entity different from me. And he says, you can even leave me in the dust because you're no longer a shadow of me, but you're a composite of more. I thought that this was actually brilliant. And so to answer that, I think it answers that question exactly, is at first we need to be humble and like a disciple, like someone that listens to someone that we obviously earmark that they're good, they have good success, and we appreciate these people. Then follow them, and then only when we get some traction, inject our own in there. And then it's going to take off like crazy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. This might be a bit of a hopefully not a personal question, but how do you see yourself in comparison to your peers? How do you do things differently? What makes it different to your peers?
My enthusiasm. That's one thing. For me, my enthusiasm. I am so enthusiastic. I can make the most boring subject in the world appeal exciting. And since desire and feelings, okay, this is one of the things. Information to create transformation needs integration. And the accelerator of integration is feelings. And so my enthusiasm is impregnated with feelings. So therefore, I make it integrate faster and faster. And I tell everybody that works with me, whenever you feel you're not energized, think about me. And you get energized. They go, yeah, I was tired yesterday. I thought about you. And then I got a second win, of course. So that's what makes me really different. Because you mentioned before, the information that I have, is it all from me? To some extent, I have some of mine, but the foundation is from a lot of other people that create a lot of good stuff. So I got my ego out of the way. You were asking Corey, yeah, get the ego out of the way, learn, be humble, and then learn, and then tweak it with your own examples, because that's the only way to grow and become unique, as you were saying, Evelyn. And so, but to me, it's foundational that we do it this way. Hey, other people may do it some other way. It's perfect. Oh, let's do this one. So if I tell you, and sorry for the words, if I tell you there's nothing written on this, and I'm pointing at this, do you believe me? If I say, you can unmute yourself. If I say there's nothing written on this, do you believe me? The more I point at this, the more you're saying, no, there's something written on it. I says, no, there's nothing written on it. And now we can be arguing from this point. But remember what I said, questions are the answer. And so therefore I can ask, Corey, what information do you have that leads you to believe that there's something written on it? He says, because I can see letters on it. And I go, no, I don't see letters. And he says, well, why don't you turn it? Now check this out. Oh, letters. Now what do you see? Nothing. I was seeing this. You were seeing that. Now listen very closely. Everybody listening to this very closely is going to give you life to your years and years to your life. Two people can look at the same thing and have a total different opinion on it, and they are both right. Stop trying to change people. Stop. Ask questions. What information do you have that leads you to believe that this is it? And he tells me, turn it and see. And I go, oh, now my mind is open to this. And yours are just opened as well. Just doing this, I think there'd be no more wars if we just do this. If people would just ask questions. What information do you have, Putin, that leads you to believe that this is good? And so, but it's true. These questions are very powerful. And when you want to communicate better, you understand more. So you can be relaxed. And it's not a confrontational thing. And it's okay at some point to say, we agree to disagree. It can be. That's okay. But we don't need to fight about it. And so to me, it's very powerful, this part. And as you can tell, when I was younger, I was very black and white. Oh, no, it has to be this way. And now I'm saying, hey, if it's not this way, what's your way? And how do you look at it? And hence, because of that, the curiosity you were talking about, Corey, is still in me. Hence, asking this thing about, hey, that internal dialogue. And so now I'm digging so much into this to find out more about it, of people that have results. Because to me, results are the name of the game. You know, people can yick, and nothing happens. I call them the washing machine syndrome. A lot of action, going nowhere.
I love that. I love it. Okay, what does being 6-star mean to you?
Actually, this is a very interesting. You opened my mind with this, because to me, I was I'm 5-star. And when I'm on my Google My Business, I tell people, hey, give me 5-star reviews, and I ask for 5-star, and all of a sudden, you up the game 6 stars. I go, this is cool. That means that you've just raised the ceiling of accomplishment. You have just allowed people to do more, be more. And it meshes with me. HowToBecomeMore.com, my website. So how to become more? Well, instead of aiming for 5-star, now aim for 6 stars. And next thing you know, 7 stars and 10 and 12. But what I like about that 6-star concept, because it made me think, I go, 6-star, why do they do that? And then I'm thinking, and by the way, it's a good thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, listening to this. Think about things. Just don't take them for whatever it is. Think about it. Says, hey, and ask yourself an empowering question. What could be good about this? Not, oh, that's dumb. 6 stars. It's supposed to be 5-star. That's leading nowhere. But if we say, hey, 6 stars, what's good about this? Hey, just raise the ceiling of expectations and of personal development and business development and better service. I loved it. So what does it mean to 6 stars? Is to bring that ceiling higher and go for more. Absolutely. That's what it means for me. Hopefully that it makes sense. But my humble introspection, that's what I got from it. You just busted the ceiling, because usually it's 5 stars. Now 6 stars now. Oh yeah, cool. How can I be 6 stars? What an empowering question. How can I be 6 stars and enjoy the process? How can I be 6 stars and do it faster? See, the questions that you ask yourself, your mind will give you answers. Ask the question, 6 stars impossible. I could never do it. Yeah, try and do something from that point of view. You're doing nothing. But if you're asking, hey, how can it be? How can I look at this? How can I engage more people in becoming 6 stars? What can I do that would stimulate people to want to be 6 stars? And what can we do together? You see, it just keeps growing now. Now I'm giving it life. And that life that I'm giving it is going to sustain and actually grow. 6 stars.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and it totally resonates with your business, your purpose, and the name of your like I said, your website.
I just came in. Sorry, 5 stars is one hand. 6 stars, I need to put another hand in. So now I got 2 hands to do things instead of just one.
Wow. I love it. And the questions and the enthusiasm and the way your mind just keeps going. Brilliant. What a blast. And by the way, it's early morning for us. So we've just had this infused, 50 minutes of enthusiasm and just so many nuggets and inspirational concepts and things to just take us out of our little zones, which is brilliant. And that's what this is all about. And I just want to thank you, Francois, for what you've brought to the table today. I do have a couple more questions. And one of them, good. Now, this is something that I've asked only a couple other people in the last couple of episodes, and it's this: what is a consistent piece of feedback that you've received from the people you serve about their experience with you? So, what are people saying consistently about their experience with you?
That's an interesting one. Consistently feedback that I get.
Yeah.
First is that they have more zest for life. That is a consistent thing. That's at first they borrowed my belief in them, and now I've raised their beliefs in themselves, and now they're starting to have that crank that's starting to be in the front, or they can start to crank themselves. That belief and enthusiasm, the energy that I have. And as I said, I do martial arts. I still do a lot of things, Qigong and Zhangzhuang and all sorts of things. And one of the masters is saying that for healing energy, there's the sword fingers, all sorts of things. I'm into so many things. I just love it. And so the energy that we have that we can give to others. So the more that you have, the more you can give. The more you have, the more you can give. But if you hoard it, then you're done. And that energy, a lot of people say, oh, I am tired. Of course I am. It's you. You're limited. But if you switch that thinking and says, what if I'm just a channel of energy? What if energy is infinite and I'm just a channel? You'll never be tired. I'm just giving you my secret right there. I'm never tired because there's an infinite source of energy. Infinite. I am never tired. Never. Sometimes even have a hard time sleeping. Sometimes I sleep. My body is sleeping. I know I'm sleeping, but my mind is still going. But I know that my body is resting. Life is great. Life is absolutely great.
Oh, wow. So many great things, Francois. You've just been this infusion of energy, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've given us. Corey, have you got any other questions or comments at this point?
I got a remark. There is a saying from a very wise guy. Probably it was even Confucius, 500 years before Christus. He said, everybody has two lives. The second life starts when you realize that you have only one life.
Yeah.
And I think you are the ultimate role model to show people how not to waste their lives by having the wrong perception about things. Yeah, trying to understand what really matters in life. And it is, as you said, surrounding yourself with the people you love, who can give love to you, whom you can give love. Yeah. And try to always be on the sunny side and the bright side of life. Yeah. I think you are doing exceptionally well in that respect.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. And thank you for the 6-star concept also that enables to lift the lid to the 5-star and bring us to the higher level. It's absolutely great. Hopefully I was able to contribute in my humble way to all your audience so that they too can feel that, hey, there's something else about me. Yes, there is. There is. Don't let anybody. There is something wonderful inside of you. Let's get it out there and make a difference. Absolutely great.
Thank you,
Lovely.
Francois. What a perfect way to finish up. I just want to honor you for the role that you're playing in this world and what you're giving people. And like Corey said, you're almost this firecracker to get people to realize their second life starts today. Master the inner dialogue. Let the energy flow. There's so much that you've brought to us today. Thank you. You're living and breathing 6-star. Definitely.
Thank you so much. An honor to be here.
Thank you.